This video contains the top 3 best TH16 attack strategies to 3-star any base. Each of these attacks are incredibly strong and very flexible, but if you lack the confidence, we're going to be breaking down everything step by step for you to have the most success with any of these attacks. Let's start with arguably one of the stronger options, which is the Queen Charge Root Riders. This is a pretty simple strategy where you want to mainly start off by getting your queen to go in. On a ring base, I would actually heavily recommend using the Battle Blimp with a Yeti bomb inside. This is to clear out a bit of a funnel where you can use some sneaky goblins and get your queen to go in the right direction. Opening the walls up for her and having the Apprentice Warden will also very much help. Otherwise, keep using balloons to look for any seeking air mines to protect your healers. But then the next thing is just to continue to create the funnel. So if you can clear out a resource building, then that's even better. But you also have access to the overgrowth, and this works incredibly well with the Yeti Blimp to get your queen to go in the right direction. This is why using the overgrowth with the Queen Charge is a very solid play. You're still going to have to deal with the enemy CC, especially if it's an Ice Golem CC, but for the most part, you will be able to funnel that side and still get into the town hall, which is how I typically recommend using the overgrowth in a Queen Charge. With your Barbarian King, you can basically use him to clear out even more defenses and just let him kind of do his own thing and whittle down the base on his own, which really, once your queen is in the core, you have enough spells to support her so she can get the town hall down and for you to then send in your Root Riders. Now with your Root Riders, you're going to use them around the area that you use the Overgrowth spell on, though it's not necessary. Of course, you're going to have your Royal Champion move in with your Root Riders, and you just want to continue to work yourself through. Being able to get a lot of value from the Root Riders using the Eternal Tome and the Healing Tome is a very, very safe play to getting a lot of value. Make sure that you do have Headhunters to go ahead and help deal with enemy heroes, since the Root Riders can't target enemy heroes, but of course you still have everything working through, and if you want to use any spells like a rage, this also works incredibly well too. But for the most part, they really don't need spells on this back end side. You should have the Royal Champion with haste and Hogs, which means that you're pretty much guaranteed to get through the back end part of the base. And realistically, this is just one of the better attacks that you can run. Making sure that you have cleanup troops via wizards is always incredibly helpful, but otherwise this strategy can work more often than not. A lot of people don't really see the use of Overgrowth and Queen Charge, but I see the possibility of it being great, especially against ring-based designs, making them even easier and also giving you a very consistent 3-star with them. Now, one of my newest favorite attacks is the Mass Twin Hogs, being one of the stronger attacks that you can run here at TH16. Pretty much, instead of using a Queen Charge, you're using 2 Yetis to create the funnel, and you basically want to use the Log Launcher with an Electro Titan and your King, Queen, and Ice Golem, possibly an Apprentice Warden as well, to get as much value as possible. An Earthquake spell is used to weaken the walls, which makes it easier for your Log Launchers to start moving in. You've got your King and Queen to clear out a lot of defenses, especially clearing out any enemy heroes and specifically dealing with the enemy CC, whatever it is, and of course dealing with the Eagle Artillery. Once these both have been dealt with, pretty much you're able to swiftly move through. Having the King with his Gauntlet ability is incredibly strong for a strategy like this, and realistically you're just letting your heroes do their own thing. You want to clear as much value as possible. Having healer puppets with the Queen is very helpful as it allows her to get even more value, possibly even dealing with the town hall, and you realistically don't need the frozen arrow to get through something like this. So it becomes incredibly good with the Log Launcher, as you can get massive value as long as you have both heroes in the base. Now, once the Eagle Artillery goes down, you can basically start in your Hogs, your Super Hogs, especially with the Grand Warden, the Royal Champion, and maybe a couple regular Hog Riders. As you move through, you should be using a heal spell to keep everything alive, keep everything protected. Having a free spell really does help. Having Headhunters within the Warden's aura when you pop the Eternal Tome is very important. Within that Eternal Tome, though, you can possibly use a Rage spell with those Hogs, and they really do synergize well with it, as they're able to do a ton of damage. Having a back end heal and a couple more Hog Riders will really help cement the strategy as you continue to move around. Other than this, you should have even more Hogs from your Hog Puppets of the Royal Champion, but otherwise this strategy just works super dang well, as you can clear through a lot. Just make sure you have cleanup troops, like even smaller units like minions and archers, while also having things like wizards or your Hog Riders from the Super Hogs. Otherwise, you can very easily and dominantly get a 3-star with this. And of course, one of the best Town Hall 16 attacks is Root Rider spam with 3 overgrowth spells. Pretty much, you're going to be setting up the funnel. One side is going to use the Siege Barrack, so you should probably use something to tank, especially if there's a defense. And then of course on the other side, you're using your Queen. This should have the Frozen Arrow with the Healer Puppets to get a lot of value out of them. Overall, they're going to create a really small funnel, and this is where you'll probably start using your overgrowth spells. The overgrowth spells here are used to control the pathing of your Root Riders, and this is going to help in terms of using them on one side. Now from here, you can basically spam in your Root Riders, your King, Grand Warden, and your Valkyries into the base. Overall, you're just going to let them kind of move in, an early rage to power them through, and using another overgrowth over the Town Hall. This is going to prevent the Root Riders from going right the way into the Town Hall. You want to make sure that they are staying away from the Town Hall poison. And as you work yourself around, you'll be able to deal with more and more of the defenses as you get closer, but using overgrowths towards the back end will very much help mitigate those defenses and will force the Root Riders to go for other key defenses, especially things like the Monolith and Eagle. Other than this, you should be able to clear through with the Giant Gauntlet, which is really going to help. Otherwise, you can pretty much let the rest of your attack go through. Make sure that you have some cleanup troops like wizards, and of course you have your back end Royal Champion. You're using this with those Super Hogs from the CC, which will allow you to get a lot of value and keep your Royal Champion alive, where you can also use your back end Royal Champion's ability with the Hog Puppets and the haste to just absolutely shred through. There's really not a lot that can stop this attack, as long as you're using the overgrowth spells to control the pathing and keep your Root Riders away from the Town Hall poison. You can really have anything else take care of that Town Hall and still dominantly get a 3-star as long as you have cleanup. So I would recommend using any of these 3 attacks because they are incredibly fun, even if Town Hall 16 has no defense. Be sure to check out my hybrid guide if you want a strategy that takes a bit more skill and is definitely strong to use.